Today is yoga for anxiety. So our focus today is moving, breathing, trying to get rid of some excess energy, that kind of energy that causes anxious feelings, or maybe the anxious feelings that cause the energy. We're going to work with the physical body a lot, trying to connect with the physical body, find muscular connection. So we're going to try and isolate muscle groups. So try and really just be thinking about the cuff or the lower leg area for a while, thinking about the oblique, the torso, and just trying to really get that mind-body connection. So moving away from perhaps a little of this feeling, this anxious, tight, closed-in feeling, and finding other places to bring our awareness to in our body. So we're going to start on our backs. Come on down to your back. And just start to land on the ground. So feel your body on the mat. Take some wiggles. Start to really land on the mat. Starting to just let go of anything that's outside of the mat. So let go of what has yet to come. Let go of what's going on outside of your mat, outside of your room, outside of your house. Really just land in your own physical body. Get to know what is present. So notice if you're feeling a little tightness across the chest. Notice if your shoulders are tight. Noticing if you're tense around your breathing. Bring attention to your face and notice what's going on in your face. Are you pulling any muscles in your face tight? And feel free to take your hands and warm your hands and just give the face a little soft massage. Bringing some circulation, some awareness to the muscles of the face. Seeing if you can get the muscles of the face to just soften a little. Start to slow your breath. Making little circles, noticing any points that your face feels tense. Maybe taking some circles in and around upper and lower jaw. When we feel tension, we often hold our jaw shut without even realizing it. So bringing some softness here. And then see if you can land on the mat a little heavier. Really being in the physical body. And trying to make a promise to yourself, a little intention for this practice, to just remain aware of the physical body. We're going to move in angles, and if we're not paying attention when we move in these angles, we can hurt ourselves. So we're going to pay attention to the muscles and not work through the joints. And to do that, we have to stay really physically present. So really challenging ourselves to stay in the physical body today. And then take your feet up to the ceiling and just spread the toes wide. Look at the feet, wiggle the toes, take some ankle circles, just getting your feet up above your heart. Maybe pedaling out the feet, starting to feel what's going on in the legs, bending the knees. Watching for any tension in the low back. Give your hips a little push down into the ground with your lower stomach. And then we're going to work with building some heat in the core. So press your hips down into the ground with your stomach muscles. Push your rib cage down into the ground. Start to fire up all the muscles of the stomach. You want all this work to be in the muscles of the stomach, especially the ones deep in close to the spine. So everything tight in the torso. We're not using our lower back. We want to fire up the stomach muscles. Inhale as you slowly lower the right foot down. Exhale as you draw it back up. Inhale as you draw the left foot down. Exhale as you draw it back up. Start to move with your own breath. If you like, you can keep your fingers on your stomach to remind yourself which muscle group you're supposed to be being present with. And if you notice that low back firing up, try not to lower your foot so low to the ground. Really keep this in the core. Slow it down, bring some fire into these muscles, warming up the stomach, warming up the torso. Complete a full round. And bring your knees into your chest and give yourself a little hug. You can rock it, you can hold it steady. Maybe even really curling your shoulders up, pulling yourself up, making a tight, tight, tight little ball. And then lower the feet to the ground, knees up, comfortable distance from the hips. Take a little sway of the hips, land the rib cage on the ground. So really get the shoulders and the rib cage on the ground. We're going to fire up and lift up the hips. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Moving with our breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Try to match the muscle group movement with the breath and try to slow the hips down. We're inhaling up and we're also engaging on the way down. See if you can find even use of the muscles in the stomach, pulling the hips up, and the muscles in the glutes and the backs of the legs. See if you can connect. Inhale up, exhale lower. Try not to grip with the toes, soften the face. And then begin to add a gentle pause at the end of the exhale. So really inhale up, full breath in. Exhale, slow, 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 full breath out. And add a little pause. See what it feels like to have no air in the body. And then back, inhale up. Exhale, lower, slow, slow, slow. And then a gentle pause. And then lower the hips, take a side sway with the knees, reset. Bring the knees into the chest and roll on over to a side. Come on up to a tabletop position and moving and breathing in tabletop. So inhale tabletop, exhale towards child's pose. Taking any versions of this that you feel right for you right now. Start to make it your practice. Be in your body. Notice if your arms want to be far away from the shoulders or in closer together. Play, change it up. Experience your own muscle groups. Inhaling forward and exhaling back. If you're having trouble staying present, you can add a little intention, a little thought pattern in here. So inhale, I open my heart. And exhale, I bow to my heart. Feel free to add in that gentle pause at the end of the exhale. So inhale forward, inhale, I open my heart, exhale, I bow to my heart, and add a gentle pause. And then repeat. Start to experience changing it up, maybe tucking the toes, maybe swaying the hips side to side. Really finding your own muscle patterns. And then come on up to a tabletop position. Bring a little strength into your arms. So really pulling yourself up out of the ground with the muscles of the arms, chest, and shoulders. And we're going to take circles with engaged arms and chest and shoulders. So shoulder circles, nice and slow. So we want to take this all in the shoulders and watch for lots of bowing in the back. So try and keep a little bit of engagement in the stomach just to keep from taking this into the low back. And then see if you can reverse your shoulder circles. And then take it to a neutral tabletop. Spread the shoulder blades wide. So really pull up, spread the shoulder blades wide. Keeping muscle engagement, lower the chest down. Spread the shoulder blades wide. So trying to find that muscle engagement in the arms, shoulders, chest, and through the back of the shoulders. Slowly engage, lower the chest. Pull up. Lower the chest. And then find a neutral tabletop and make your way to down dog, warming up your down dog shape in whatever way feels right for you today. And pedal out the legs, sway the hips, open the side body. And we're going to move and breathe a little bit more challenging. So thinking about moving with the stomach engaged and keeping the hips. So down dog with the hips lifting to the sky. Arms, chest, shoulders, stomach engaged. We're going to inhale forward to a high plank. And exhale as if we're being pulled from the tailbone back to down dog. Feel free to add in that gentle pause. Inhale forward. And exhale, pull back. If this is too much, return to tabletop to child. Inhale forward, exhale back. And if you're having trouble staying on the mat and you're swirling with your thoughts, go back to adding. Inhale, I open my heart. Exhale, I bow to my heart. Find a down dog, steady into your down dog. And you give the head a little soft shake. Turn your world upside down. Bend the knees, look towards the hands and either hop or step forward. Forward fold, feet about hip width. So find a little bend in your knees, let the torso find the thighs. And let the tension come out of the neck. Let the head fall. Inhale as you rise up, arms overhead. Prayer to heart with the exhale. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, prayer to heart. One more time. Bring your prayer to heart, land in mountain pose. Check in, notice any tension in the physical body. So we're gonna look at the low back, see if you can find any tension in the low back. Soften the low back, soften around the knees, the hips, wiggle the toes, soften the toes. Find a mountain pose that's comfortable. Close the eyes. And see if you can tune in and find all the little micro adjustments that happen in the body when you just stand on your own 2 feet. Notice that the hardest poses in yoga are often the simplest ones when we're asked to be still. Notice if the mind is swirling and trying to draw you off the mat. And then as if honoring it and allowing it to do what it does, take our prayer to the center of the forehead. Notice that our mind is just part of the whole system. And slowly draw our prayer back to our heart, further away from the thoughts. And then we're going to sink our hips down to a baby chair. Begin to engage and hold a baby chair. So look for too much tension in the low backs. Try to squeeze as if you're trying to pull your hip bones together. Pull your stomach in towards midline and then back towards the spine. Engage. We're going to peel up the heels in chair pose. So one heel at a time. So watching, sitting in a chair. Chair can be knees together or knees apart, whichever you prefer. Or sitting in a chair. Thing to watch for. Watching for all the motion coming from the hips. Try to lock the hips even and peel up one heel at a time without moving the hips. If you're not sure if you're doing it, put your hands on your hips. Try to keep your hips steady. One heel at a time, taking all the movement into the leg. And rather than pushing the heel up, think about pulling it up with the muscles of the legs. Really pull the heel up. Really finding connection to all the muscles of the legs and starting to find connection to the muscles of the feet. You can stick with this, or if you're ready to peel both heels up and challenge your balance, go ahead. And then lower the heels back to mountain pose. Take your prayer up overhead. You can interlace the fingers. Reach really, really, really long in the torso. Take your prayer over to the right. Hold. So reaching long, thinking about lengthening that left side body. Pushing your hands up more. Make more space in the rib cage. Lift this left armpit. Breathe and hold. Slowly bring it back to center. Push your fingertips to the sky and then over to the right, left, opening right side body. Breathe and hold. Look for gripping in the toes. Look for over gripping in the low back. Maybe you need to bend the knees a little to take this really into the torso rather into the back in any place. Bring it back to center. Open up the arms and pull the elbows back behind you. Again, looking for lower back. So we don't want to have any gripping in the low back. Pull the elbows back and behind you. And you can keep this engagement in the arms, or you can take a little break with the arms and bring the fingertips to the shoulders. Keep the engagement in the arms. We're going to take it left to right. So take an inhale, and then right elbow comes to right hip. As you exhale, inhale center, exhale left elbow to left hip. So we're really looking to engage in the oblique space. You can take a deeper bend in the knees to really make sure you keep this out of the low back. And then bring it back to center and bring the arms down and roll one shoulder at a time, big circle. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, swan dive it down and touch the ground. Send right foot back, left foot back, high plank, hold. So find a place where you can hold high plank nice and strong in arms and shoulders and chest. Legs are engaged, glutes are engaged, stomach's engaged. Breathe and hold. Lower right knee behind right hand. And then come on over to baby half moon. So things to watch here. You may even want to grab a block so you're really not sinking into this right wrist. Make some space. Start to engage the torso. Take this all into the stomach. So maybe even you're almost floating off these right fingers. Left leg long, touch it to the ground. Right arm can reach up and pull back up to the sky, or it can remain on the hip. Hold here, breathe. Make sure you're really fully engaged in the torso so you're nice and steady. Start to float this left leg up off the ground. Keeping everything still except for the leg. So keeping everything still, not dropping into this right shoulder. Nice and engaged, nice and still. Draw the left heel in towards the nose and then back. Inhale as you draw in. Inhale as you open. Exhale as you squeeze in. Sorry. Inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze in. If this is too much, bend the knee and just draw the knee in. Try to keep the movement from the hip down, so not moving in the torso. Nice and strong. Bend the knee, draw the knee towards the nose. Draw the heel towards the nose. So turn the heel, draw it in. Hold it here, really still engaged, and then drop the knee down and then back. Drop the knee down and then back. Watch for buckling into that right shoulder. Stay engaged in the torso. Lift up out of the ground with the muscles of the arm and shoulder. Slowly lower left leg. Return to a tabletop position. Take the right arm out, even with the shoulder and as far away as you can. So this shape, far away. And then lower it, holding the hand, arm engaged. Lower the shoulder towards the midline. Breathe. And then find a neutral tabletop. Take the hips over to the left side in a child's pose shape, looking for a nice stretch in that left glute space. Breathe. Let go. And then come on up to a neutral tabletop. We're going to go to the other side. So set up for left hand. Left knee behind the left hand. Come on to half moon, baby half moon on the other side. So again, this is buckling into the left shoulder. I'm not holding myself with my muscles. I'm dumping into the shoulder, just hanging out in the joint. Lift, engage all the way down the left torso. Engage through the arm. Lift up, hover, right leg. Hold and hover again. Arm, right arm can come up. You can pull up through the rib cage, or you can keep it on the hip. Engage all of the muscles of the right leg. Try to remain fully in the right leg. Inhale as you're long. Exhale as you draw the foot towards the nose. Inhale long. Exhale, draw it in. Feel free to add in that gentle pause after the exhale. Inhale long. Exhale in. Trying not to move in the torso, really strong and engaged. Trying not to dump into that right wrist, pull up out of the ground. Take it back to baby half moon. Bend the knee, draw it towards the nose. Engaging the leg, so the leg remains engaged. We're going to drop the knee towards the center, towards the ground, and then pull it back up. Drop it down, pull it back up. All movement from below the hip. So, not moving in the torso, nice and strong. Take it back to baby half moon, and then find your way to a neutral tabletop, this time taking left hand out. Land it on the ground. So you're pulling the hand back towards you without letting it move. And then drop the shoulder down. Neutral tabletop, this time send the hips over towards the right for funky child's pose. Slowly come up to down dog. Find your breath in down dog. Can you feel your hands on the ground, your shoulders engaged? Can you feel your breath as it comes in and goes out? Getting really strong in the arms and shoulders and still in the arms and shoulders. Bend both knees a little bit. Send right heel as slow as you can to the ceiling without moving the rest of the body. And then press the heel out to the ceiling nice and strong. Breathe and hold. Bend the knees. Step through low lunge. I got my blocks. So low lunge, inhaling forward, exhaling, sending the leg towards straight. Both legs engage. See if you can really connect to the muscles of the legs. So feeling the muscles of both feet, taking some movement side to side, exploring the muscles of your legs. Inhale forward, exhale back. Find a low lunge, nice and solid. See if you can lift the torso up off the leg, both legs engaged. Inhale as you rise all the way up, or high lunge. Bring the torso over the front leg. Begin to bring the weight onto the front leg with both legs engaged. See if you can pop up to warrior three. Breathe and hold. Slowly come all the way to stand with the left knee bent. Slow, engaged. And then we're going to bend the right knee. So sink it down, hold. We're going to take the torso over to the right and slowly swing the left leg around. And find your warrior two. So that should have been all in the legs. Watch for that movement coming from the sacrum, the low back. Find your warrior two. Arms out or at the hips, wherever you need to be. See if you can find both feet on the ground, both legs engaged. Gripping, no gripping in the toes, nice soft toes, soft shoulders. Breathe. So holding your warrior two, legs engaged, fully engaged. We're going to heel up the front heel. So come to releve on the front heel. Nice and slow. Heeling it up. Arms can be out or they can stay down. Think about moving through the leg and trying to keep the rest of the body still. Left leg remains engaged. Nice and slow. Keep an eye on the hips. Try not to take this all into the low back and hips. And then take the torso a little bit over that front leg. Now engage torso. Engage all of the muscles of the stomach, especially thinking about this space between the rib cage and the hip. You can even bring your fingers here to hold the torso here. And now peel up the heel. Breathing nice and soft and slow. Even matching the movement with your breath. The slower you go, the harder it is. Controlling the movement all the way up and all the way down. And then bring your hands to prayer, regular warrior two. Sink your hips a little bit backwards. So press your hips a little bit backwards. Torso comes a little bit further forward. Stomach engaged. Send your hips over towards the left leg. Not a lot. We're not coming to ninja. We're sending a teeny movement. Both legs super engaged still. You're going to turn right shoulder towards the left knee. Hold here. So nice and strong. Set up your base firmly first. And we're going to inhale, lift the hips a little. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. It's going to be harder if your arms are out. You can keep your hands at prayer. Think about engaging the torso, space between the rib cage and the hips. Maybe even a little more of a tilt of shoulder to knee and a little straighten up. Breathe, find more muscles in your legs, find more muscles in your hips. Slowly return to warrior two. Breathe. Flip your palms. We're going to work through that front leg a little more. So we're going to inhale as we pull the heel up. Exhale as we straighten front leg and reach the torso forward. Inhale, pull it up. Exhale, straighten lower heel, push forward. So the only thing about the torso being engaged in pushing the rib cage forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale, push. Slow. Control. Find your triangle legs. Push your torso forward. Left hand can remain in this space to remind you to engage here. Hold your left hand out like you're pushing the wall away. Floating triangle. Both legs engaged. Nothing locked. Everything engaged, but not locked. Hold here. Lower the right arm down so it's relaxed. Take the left arm up, and we're going to pull the left arm and rib cage up. Pull up and back. Up and back. So now you can feel these muscles between the rib cage and the hip. We're trying to keep everything else still. And then sweep it back, reverse triangle. Warrior two. Pressing with the right hand. Reach the torso forward, start to bring the weight onto the right leg. See if you can pop up to warrior through half moon. You may want to put your block in front of you just so you can rest your fingertips. Lift up. Engage left leg. Find those muscles we've been thinking about in the torso. Maybe even float the fingertips up. Breathe and hold. If you're in your thoughts, you won't be able to balance. Think about the physical body. Think about the legs being strong, the torso being strong. Breathe. And then slowly breathe. And then slowly lower back. Warrior two. Hold. Pivot on the back foot. Frame out the front. Right foot meets left high plank. And then lower all the way down to crocodile pose. Once you get there, shimmy the hips. So one hand on top of the other, forehead down, shimmy the hips. Let go. Find your breath. So it's a good time to check in. We only did one side, so see what's different in different places throughout the body. Have an internal experience, really feeling some muscles. And then we're going to work the muscles of the back. So move with your own strength. Watch for not being strong enough and pulling too much tension into the neck. So begin with the hands down. Inhale, lift the shoulders, and exhale, lower. Begin small. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And as you get more connected to the muscles of the back, so the muscles of the upper back, mid back, lower back, glutes, legs, you can begin to lift the toes. But think about not pulling the head back and making a big arch, but keeping the head in line with the spine. In a kind of neutral position, lifting and lowering with the breath. Maybe even adding in that gentle pause after the exhale. Trying to use all of the muscle groups in the back evenly. Glutes, legs, low back, mid back. Nothing gripping more than the other muscle group. Face soft. Move with your breath. And then return to crocodile. This time bring the heels to the ceiling and take a soft shimmy of the legs side to side. See what you can soften. See if you can let go of the low back. And then lower the toes. Press back through child's pose. Take a little rest, a little breather in child's. And then back to down dog. Find the stillness of down dog. Connect with turning your world upside down. And then get really strong in the arms and shoulders, really engaged in the stomach, pulling the hips up out of the ground without anything else moving. Slowly peel the left heel up to the ceiling. Three-legged dog. Breathe. And then step through low lunge. Grab your block, inhale forward, and exhale towards a straight leg on the left. Having an internal experience, feeling your legs, your hips, the muscles of your feet move with your breath. Stay present in your muscles. We can move the knee and the foot and the hips in all kinds of angles, but only if we remain present. We only ever hurt ourselves when we're not paying attention. So pay attention to what is going on. Feel your own muscles, your own legs. And then find a nice steady low lunge. Both legs really engaged, pulling up out of the ground. Stomach engaged. Lift the torso a little off that front leg. Inhale, rise up, high lunge. Breathe. Slowly bring the torso over the front leg, keeping both legs engaged. Engage the stomach, press forward, maybe peeling up that back leg all the way to warrior three. Breathe. Bend the back leg and come all the way to stand with the right leg bent. Hold. Take a bend in the left knee, the torso over the left, opening up hip, stomach engaged. Watch for taking this into the back. Step all the way back and around, nice and slow to warrior two. Wiggle around, find your warrior two base. Nice and strong. And arms can remain out, or if your shoulders and arms are tired, bring them to your hip. We're going to inhale, peel up the heel. Exhale, lower. Nice and slow. Try not to move the hips too much. Take it all into the leg. Feel the muscles of the leg. The heel does not need to lift super high. You can just peel it up a teeny bit, like you're slipping the piece of paper underneath the heel. Find your breath, find the muscles of the legs. Right leg does not go to sleep, it's still engaged. Feel the muscles of the right leg. Find a warrior two. Sink the hips a little bit backward, torso a little bit forward, then left out. Left shoulder comes towards the right leg a little bit. Still super engaged here. So hold, engage, arms out makes it more challenging. We're gonna lift the hips, inhale, exhale, lower and bend the knee a little more. You can take this just a teeny movement. You can take it bigger and straighten up and twist. As you're coming through, both legs remain engaged. Find your legs. Squeeze the glutes. Slow it down. Feel more muscles. can bring the hands to prayer if you're getting tired in the arms. And then slowly make your way back. Warrior two. A little more challenging this time. Inhale, peel up the heel. Exhale, lower the heel and come to a floating triangle. Inhale, peel up the heel. Exhale, floating triangle. Remain really engaged in the core here. So things to watch for. A lot of times people move into triangle and really sink into this hip. Watch for that. Engage through both inner thighs, keeping your legs peeled up and pulling up out of the ground, your hips open. Take this movement into the muscles and not into the joints. Feel your legs. And then make your way to a floating triangle. Both legs engaged, torso engaged. Left arm pushes away from you, so you're really connecting to this ribcage space. Hold and breathe. Let the left arm relax. Right arm pushes to the ceiling, and we're going to lift the ribcage. Everything else remains still. Left arm can come to the oblique muscles and find them if you like to give yourself that mind-body connection. Remind yourself which muscle group you're using. Press up, pull down. Press up and pull down. And then sweep it back. Reverse triangle. Warrior two. And then finding your block. We're going to peel up this back leg, engage through the torso. Look at the block so you know where you're going. Pull up the leg with the muscles of the leg and the torso. Don't just flop up there. Breathe. Maybe even float your hand up off the block. Pull the torso nice and strong. And then slowly float back to warrior two. Pivot on the back foot. Frame out the front. Left foot meets right, high plank, and then lower down to forearm plank. Nice and slow. You need to drop the knees, drop the knees. Engage through the arms. So as if you're trying to pull the hands apart and pull the elbows apart without letting your arms move. Breathe and hold. Meet me in child's pose, or if you would like just a little bit more challenge, we're going to pull the nose forward and pull it back. So we're going to pull forward with the muscles of the shoulders and chest, and then pull back from the muscles of the legs. Arms and shoulders deeply engaged. Lower the knees. And either crocodile or child's pose, whichever you find most restorative. Breathe and let go. Wherever you're at, slowly coming up through child's and then back to a seated position. So come to a seat. We're going to have our legs out. So not as far as they come. We're not working in your thighs. Just out so that you're comfortable and you can get your hips on the ground. Try and get nice and long in the torso, keeping the right hand down. Reach the left hand up and then press open. And really pressing that rib cage up and then over. So This movement does not come from the arm and the hand. You can take the arm out. It just helps guide us. So really think about lifting and making more space through the left rib cage. Take the tension out of the neck. Slowly come to the other side. Pressing up, opening that right rib cage. Slowly bring it back to neutral. We're going to point the toes and pull the toes back. Roll the toes, work through the feet. Breathe. Take some wiggles of the legs, a little softness in the legs. And then slowly make your way down to your back. So return to that ball shape of bringing your knees in and curling in as if you're giving yourself a little hug, a little support. And breathe. Start to land on the ground. Take the knees a little bit closer to the hips. Take the right knee over the left and then draw the knees back in and pull the feet as if you're pulling the feet towards opposite shoulders. Hands can rest on the shins. You're looking to feel this right in the glute piriformis space on the right side. Breathe in as if you're breathing all of your fresh breath to this space. And then with the exhale, you're sweeping away any tension from this space, letting this space soften and loosen. Land the left foot slowly on the ground, knee up, right leg crosses right ankle just underneath that knee. Press the knee away from you, thinking about the hip space. So pressing with the muscles of the leg, and then many options. You can draw the left leg in towards the chest. That feels better for you. You can peel up the toes of the left foot and press into the heel of the left foot, so engaging that left side a little more. You can also lift the hips a little. See how that feels. As long as you're nice and strong in the core and you're not using your back to lift the hips. Breathe and hold. Explore your own hip space. Wherever you're at, leaving the left foot on the ground, knee up, right knee comes in towards the chest, and then take a slow circle with the knee as if you're just trying to open up that hip. Feel all of the ways the hip can move. Nice and slow, as if oiling the joint, and then back the other way. Really slow, rather than just rolling around, trying to feel any places you might be holding tension. Lower the right foot and take a side sway of the knees. Both knees lift, left crosses over right, and then the feet to opposite shoulders. Piriformis space, left side. Breathe, soften into this space. Start to really land on the mat. And every time you get caught away in the familiar paths of thoughts, gently return to physical sensation in the body. What can you feel in this space? Can you feel the muscles of your face? Are they feeling soft or tight? How about the muscles of your neck, your jaw? Wiggle the toes. Really, every time you get pulled back into the head, return to something physical. Return to something in the body. Slowly lower, right foot to the ground, knee up, left ankle crosses just underneath the knee, and find the space that's right for you and your hips. Maybe peeling up the toes, maybe pulling the right knee towards the chest. Maybe landing the right leg, both legs engaged, lifting the hips, stomach engaged. Breathe and hold. Wherever you're at, slowly lower the right, slowly bring the left knee in and take a circle with the hips. Ooh, tongue-tied. Circle with the knee through the hip, nice and slow, and then back the other way. Not just rolling in space, but trying to connect with all of the points that the joint can work in, and noticing any places where there's muscular tension. Line both feet on the ground and knees side to side, nice and slow. So make a decision for where you would like to be for your resting pose. Traditionally, taken in corpse pose, however, the purpose of this pose is to get as close to a corpse as possible, which means taking as much tension out of the body as possible. So find the place where you can be completely in comfort, and this may mean a bend in the knees with the feet wide and the knees together so that the legs, glutes, the low back, everything is soft. Maybe you have a bolster in under knees or a pillow. Maybe you have a completely different position that you prefer to be in for your body. So take your time, find your props, land. This is not a final stretch. This is your rest. This is the part that you earn through working through all the other parts. So take your rest. I'm going to work you through feeling and being present in the physical body first. I'm going to read from the sutra, the Radiant Sutra, and then you get to earn that rest. So thing to remember about the sutra is that it's supposed to be heard from the heart space, rather than the head space. So try not to cognitively think. Try not to let that cognitive boss, the brain, do all the work. Try to think about being more of a whole system and having an experience. So we're going to start at the toes, and we're going to wiggle our toes and notice if there's any physical tension in our feet. Wiggle the toes, soften the toes. See if you can become just your feet, as if all you are right now is just your feet. Land in your feet. See if you can feel each of the toes. And this is just an exercise. So don't beat yourself up if you can't feel anything, if you can't find sensation, if the mind is just too bossy today. Don't beat yourself up. Just try. Just practice. See if you can feel the skin on your feet. And see if you can feel the skin on your legs. Can you become just your knees? See if there's any tension resting in and around your knees. See if you can become soft, soft, soft in the knees. And then find the hips. Can you become soft in the hips? And if you're a particularly visual person, maybe imagining little soft, fluffy balls of energy, and you're going to place them right in the joints. You can give them a color, you can give them a temperature. Maybe they're cooling, maybe they're warming. And imagine them soft, fluffy, full of life, little balls of energy. And then imagine you could place these little balls of energy, or just walk your attention up your spine, placing your attention and awareness all the way around each vertebrae, as if checking for any tension, any further resting, holding patterns in the spine. And placing little pockets of space and softness between each vertebrae. Find that meeting place of the skull and the spine. Think about a lot of softness and space here. We often hold a lot of tension here in the muscles that support our skull. Maybe it's just from the weight of the skull, but it almost seems to me as if my mind, my body fight that mind-body connection, and I clamp down right at the most important meeting place of the mind and body. Almost like I'm trying to shut that communication down with the muscles of my body, and I hold a lot of tension here. So bring a lot of softness, a lot of space, and whatever helps you visually think of that, your little balls of energy. Maybe you're just trying to feel the muscles and imagine them softening. Then bring your attention to your mind. Rest in your mind without getting caught up in your mind. So just try to see if you can land in your mind as if you can see your thoughts flowing and firing. And then you can pull yourself a little bit closer towards the meeting place of the mind, of the spine and the brain. So right at the very center of the brain, imagine that you're in the thoughts, you see the thoughts, and then you could drop down to that lower that's below. And then slowly walk your attention down your spine towards your heart center, your spirit center. Perhaps even just looking for the sound of your heartbeat. Having more and more of a physical sensation and an imaginative journey, an energetic journey, and drawing away from the thoughts. I'm going to read from the sutra. Forget all of your ideas about the body. It is this way or it is that way. Just be with any area of it. This present body, as permeated with limitless space, drenched in freedom. So we are more than just this physical body. We are more than just the thoughts. But when trying to take a break from the thoughts and the swirlings of the mind, it can be a useful tool to locate places of the body to focus on. And just practice bringing your awareness there. Maybe you just want to be one thumb and see how much sensation and how much you can actually feel that one thumb. Maybe you want to remain in the heart center. Maybe there's some other place in your body that you want to place your awareness on. And it's not that you only remain in that part and that's a success. It is simply a practice of bringing your awareness to one place, seeing how aware you can become of that one place, and then noticing when your thoughts and the outside distractions pull you away from that one place, and just gently bring yourself back. Noticing that some days it'll be easy to draw all of your awareness to one place. Noticing that some days that it seems completely impossible. And learning to become at ease with whichever state you are in, rather than wrestling and fighting with your state, with your body, with your whole self. Just gently practicing another way. just as if we were to injure an arm and it was immobile for a period of time. Before we went back to our regular life, we would work out that arm, we would gently move the muscle, slowly build up muscle, return to full use of the arm. We work the mind in the same way. We work our whole existence in the same way, just gently practicing little tools and tips and techniques, seeing which ones work, throwing out which ones don't. And just gently practicing being patient with ourselves as we learn, as we practice, as we stumble. If you have the time to take in your resting flows, please take as much time as you need. You can set a timer, you can just take the time. If you need to be finished in 60 minutes, we are right on that mark. So begin to make your way to a fetal position on whatever side is calling to you, and take a moment to ground back down, land in the room. Slowly make your way to a seated position and bring your hands to prayer at heart space. And think about your fingertips. Your fingertips touching. Think about all the nerve endings on the fingertips. And see if you can become completely aware of the fingertips touching. And then the fact that the fingertips are in front of the heart space. And honor your own inner wisdom, your own inner guide, as if giving it a little promise to listen more patiently to that inner guide. After all, there's something that drew you to this practice. And whether you knew it or not, it's typically your inner guide, sending you to things that might make you be more comfortable in this whole self. It's not the nagging inner critic that likes to disguise itself. It's not the ego that likes to disguise itself as the inner guide. It's the soul self, that place you know that's connected, when you feel from inside, when it's guided you. Honor this space. And then honor this space in someone else or just others in general, as if sending out your honored space and allowing it to connect with the honored space of others. Imagining, accepting each other on our own journeys, making our own mistakes, and celebrating our own successes. Imagining that we can give patience and love and kindness, each on our own journey. Thank you so much for joining me.